Alright, so now that the audio quality is working, we can now go ahead and get started on 2016 New Japan Pro Wrestling King of Pro Wrestling review. This has been long overdue. I was dealing with some stuff, and internet was down for a little bit, so now it's back up and I finished watching the show. Let's go ahead and get right on into it. Now, the opening match is Chaos and Bullet Club, where it's a six-man tag match. Tomohiro Ishii, Yoshihashi, and Will Ospreay taking on the ROH World Champion Adam Cole, Bad Luck Fale, and Yujiro Takahashi. Where the match starts off before the bell rings, you got Bullet Club getting the jump on Chaos. You got Fale cleaning house, and the Bullet Club starts working over Yoshihashi Steiner line, where Yoshihashi ends up cutting off the momentum of the Bullet Club after hitting his net breaker, and he ends up tagging in Will Ospreay. He starts cleaning house, working over Cole for a little bit. And then as Ospreay went for a springboard attack, Cole cuts him off with a super kick. Then they did a double down. Then they did a spot where they took each other out. And then you have Ishii and Yujiro Takahashi getting the tag. Ishii was able to work over Fale and Takahashi for a bit. Then Takahashi ends up breaking his eyes, and then as the match breaks down, you got a brawl. They brawl on the floor, and you got everyone fighting. And then Ospreay ended up hitting, what was it? I think it was the Fosbury flop. I can't exactly remember what dive he hit, but ended with but the match ends with Ishii hitting Yujiro Takahashi with a brainbuster for the 3 count. This was a solid way to open up the show. I'm gonna give this one solid 3 out of 5. Nothing like to make you go crazy, but it was just enough to get your blood pumping, get you pumped up for the show. So the next match we get is an 8-man tag match, where it is GHB, Togi Makabe, and Tomoaki Honma teaming up with Ryusuke Taguchi and Bobby Fish of Red Dragon to take on Chaos, which is Toru Yano, Garbage, Jado, Beretta, and Rocky Romero, Roppongi Vice. Yeah, Yano, he spit water in Makabe's face before the match, and then you have Jado and Taguchi starting off doing some. You got Jado doing his best impersonation of Ric Flair, flopping. You got Yano doing his shit with Makabe, his comedy bullshit. Then he tags in Rocky Romero, and you have Romero and Beretta double teaming Makabe, and you have everyone brawling on the floor. Yeah, while this was happening, Yano was removing the turnbuckle so he can do that gimmick of like whipping his opponent into the turnbuckle, or if his opponent charges him, he'll get out the way and they hit the turnbuckle, and he can get like a quick win over them. I don't know, whatever. Then you got while they were working over Makabe was able to stop their momentum, stop Roppongi Vice's momentum with the lariat, tagging in Bobby Fish, and then Fish was getting his offense in. for a little bit, and then Beretta cuts him off with a DDT. Then you have Homa and Romero tagging in. Homa got the advantage, and then the match breaks down, and everyone in Chaos gets in the ring to work him over. Then you get more brawling on the outside with the rest of the teams, while Romero was hitting the forever clotheslines on Homa, until Homa was able to stop him with a Kokeshi, which is a standing Kokeshi, which is a standing diving headbutt, for those of you who don't watch New Japan. Then you have everyone hitting their big spots, where you have Homa hitting a slam on Romero, and then he follows up, goes to the top rope, and hits a Kokeshi for the 3 count. So your winners are Homa, Makabe, Taguchi, and Fish. This match, it was okay. It wasn't really anything great. Just a bunch of comedy and all that other bullshit. I'm gonna give this a 2.5 out of 5. Makabe, Homa, they did their thing. Fuck Taguchi, he's garbage. Bobby Fish is the man. Nice seeing him as the TV champ. Jado is Jado. Doesn't really move like he used to. Roppongi Vice, they've been teasing Roppongi Vice breaking up. I don't know whether they're going to go all in with it, or if they're not even going to go through, or they're going to stop with it. Then you have Yano being garbage as usual. So after the match, you got some pro sprawling between Yano and Makabe. Makabe just whooping Yano's ass. I guess it's going to be setting up a GHC heavyweight tag match over in Noah, where it's going to be Homa and Makabe challenging Yano and Marufuji for the GHC heavyweight tag team championships. So the match was kind of to calm down the crowd. So afterwards, we get into this 8-man tag match. New Japan versus Pro Wrestling Noah. We're representing New Japan as the 3rd generation. Yuji Nagata, Satoshi Kojima, Hiroyoshi Tenzan, and Manabu Nakanishi taking on Pro Wrestling Noah's Go Shiozaki, Maebach Taniguchi, Katsuhiko Nakajima, and Masa Kitamiya. So another thing between New Japan and Noah, they first started this back at the Day 19, which was the finals of the G1 Climax a couple of months ago. But that match was much better than this 8-man tag match. This one was good, just not as good as the previous one, where you start off with everyone brawling on the floor. Then you had when they get into the ring, you have Tenkozy working over Taniguchi, and you had Kojima as usual lighting him up with his machine gun chops. Then everybody else from Noah starts charging the ring, getting rid of the rest of the 3rd generation, and they start working over Kojima. Nakajima ends up getting in the match, and you have Team Noah getting in their heat, because with New Japan and Noah, they got a lot of beef, and the fans, the New Japan fans absolutely hate Noah guys, for the most part. There have been occasions where you had a Noah guy team up with a New Japan guy, and they wouldn't boo the Noah guy. But this was where they were really booing the shit out of Noah. And you had Eventually, Kojima was able to separate himself from the Noah guys and get the tag to Yuji Nagata. And Nagata and Nakajima were going crazy. They were going back and forth. And Nakajima was getting the shit kicked out of him by Nagata. And Nagata would end up catching him with his arm bar, where he rolls his eyes in the back of his head. Then you get the rest of the third generation fighting the other Noah guys. Kitamiya ends up making the save, and then Nakajima and Kitamiya ended up double teaming Nagata. Nagata was able to fight off a brainbuster from Nakajima and tag in Manabu Nakanishi. Him and Shiozaki start trading chops, and Shiozaki, that dude can deliver a knife edge chop. Like, go look at his match with Austin Aries in ROH back in 08. Like, he was literally chopping the living shit out of Aries. It wasn't even funny. So Nakanishi ends up hitting a shoulder tackle, and the New Japan dads end up clearing the ring, and they all start beating down on Shiozaki. Nakanishi ends up hitting the big lariat, but Shiozaki was able to kick out at 2. Nakanishi ends up falling up with a backbreaker, but Nakanishi was able to break up the count at 2. Nakajima was able to break out the count at 2. So the match breaks down, and then you have Taniguchi and Shiozaki hitting a reverse Dudley Death Drop on Nakanishi for a 2 count. Shiozaki then hits a penalty kick, followed by the stalling brainbuster for a 2 count, and then the match breaks down again. And then Shiozaki ends up hitting Nakanishi for the lariat for the 3 count. And then, so Noah wins. After the match, you get another post-match brawl where everyone's going crazy. Now, this wasn't as good as like the one at the G1 where Shibata was bloody and he was just going after Nakajima, and then the Noah guys beating up on him, and then the rest of the third generation was evening up the odds, and then you had Shibata headbutting Shiozaki. Like, that was hilarious. Like, this was a really good match. And that was a really good brawl. And towards the end of this brawl for this show, you had Nagata and Nakajima staring each other down, mugging each other. And then you had Nakajima with a smirk, and he slaps Nagata. Nagata slaps him back. And everybody they really saw that they wanted to kill each other on this one. It wasn't, like I said, not as good as the G1, but it was still good to see. I give this match a 3.75 out of 5. Right, it was a very good match. Still got to put the G1 match over this match. Man, can't even scroll down. Hold up. The fuck? Well, it just exited on my Xbox One. Because I was scrolling down But okay. Now what was the next match again? All right, on to the. Let's see. Yep, IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match. The Young Bucks as the champions defending against David Finlay and Ricochet. Like, David Finlay and Ricochet, they are 2/3 of the NEVER Openweight 6-man tag champs with Kojima. So now you got, so the match starts off with you got Finlay and Nick Jackson. Actually, no, it was Matt, and he was like pretty much talking shit to Finlay. He was pie facing him constantly. He's like, "Hey, your dad sucked at wrestling." So they go back and forth. Then you have Ricochet and Nick doing a really good exchange in the beginning. Ricochet and the Bucks teased a few dives, but it went nowhere. Then you had Finlay. Like, Finlay ended up eating multiple super kicks. Like, the Young Bucks were in control for most of the match, where the story of the match was them pretty much taking David Finlay to school. And most of the match, Finlay was taking most of the offense. He ends up tagging in Ricochet, and after Finlay flipped out, got out of the back suplex. So then Ricochet ends up avoiding super kicks and all kinds of double teams from the Young Bucks. Sends them both to the floor. Then I believe Ricochet hit, what was it? I think it was a somersault plancha. Over Nick Jackson. Actually, no, it was Matt. Then, meanwhile, when he got back in the ring, he hit a Regal Plex on Nick for a 2 count. So then you had the Young Bucks taking control again after the match broke down. Hitting a double super kick on Finlay. And then Ricochet was about to do a springboard attack, so then the Young Bucks ended up giving him a super kick. Afterwards, there's I think they did worked over Finlay. Then as the Young Bucks were about to do a Meltzer driver, Ricochet ends up cutting them off, catching Nick with like a Hurricane Rana. Then him and Finlay worked over Nick with a double backstabber for a 2 count. Dave Finlay and Ricochet were about to do their rendition of More Bang for Your Buck, which is the Young Bucks finisher, where one of them does a Finlay roll, then the other one does a 450, and the other one follows up with a moonsault. Then you had, so as they did that, Ricochet ended up Nick got his knees up for, as Ricochet was going for the 450. Yeah, Finlay trying to find out both the Young Bucks, and he was fighting them off with uppercuts, but they got him with the super kick. Then you had Ricochet cutting off the Meltzer driver again, but Young Bucks ended up throwing him out the ring. And the Young Bucks hit More Bang for Your Buck on Dave Finlay to retain the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag titles. This was a really good match. I'm going to give this one a solid 4 out of 5. You really got a showcase of what David Finlay could do. And this was to make him look strong. So it shows he's graduated from the Young Lion class. Showing him how far he's come along. Really good match. Let's see what happens. Goes from here with the junior tag titles. So that was a really good match to see. And from that match, oh fuck, we get to go to the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Title match. We got them boys defending the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships against the Gorillas of Destiny. Why? Why can't they just stop pushing the Gorillas of Destiny? These guys are trash. Now, granted, this was one of the best matches I've seen from the Gorillas of Destiny, but even with that, nobody cares. Every time the Gorillas of Destiny took control of the match, the crowd was just dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. Like, seriously, the Briscoes just tried. They tried their best to make it work. It just didn't. So, yeah, every time the Gorillas of Destiny were working them over. So, you had Gorillas of Destiny working over Jay for a little bit. After the Briscoes took control and they were working over Gorillas of Destiny, and they're starting to get the crowd hype, but here comes the Buzz Killers, Tama Tonga and Tangaroa. So afterwards, Mark ends up getting the hot tag, and he starts getting in his offense until Tangaroa ended up catching Mark as Mark went for a moonsault, and he hits a power slam, and then Gorillas of Destiny take control again, working over Mark, putting the crowd to sleep. Jay gets the hot tag, and he pretty much goes wild on the Gorillas of Destiny. Hitting a suicide dive on Tonga, while Mark hits a blockbuster off the apron on Tangaroa. Then you got Jay hitting Tama Tonga with a lariat for a 2 count, and the Briscoes were double teaming Tama Tonga, and then the match starts breaking down, and you got the Briscoes at one point hitting a Razor's Edge neck breaker combo for a 2 count. Gorillas of Destiny were able to fight off, were able to escape the Doomsday device and hit a powerbomb neck breaker combo for a 2 count. And as the Gorillas of Destiny tried a double superplex on Mark Briscoe, Jay made the save, and the Briscoes tried to do the Doomsday device again, but the Gorillas of Destiny counter, and they hit the double team gun stun, followed by Guerrilla Warfare for the 3 count. So Gorillas of Destiny regained the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles. Why? I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5, but why? Stop with the fucking Gorillas of Destiny shoving them down your throat. Jeez. Like, the Briscoe brothers title reign ended, and the title reign sucked. Not because of the Briscoes, it wasn't their fault. They tried. But when you put them up against shitty teams like Gorillas of Destiny, Adam Page and Yujiro Takahashi, it's bound to fail. The only good team they had was the Young Bucks. That was it. But we get to sit through the torture of another Guerrillas of Destiny title reign. Ain't that nice? So moving on from that, we get a match that gets much better. Hiroshi Tanahashi and Unbreakable Michael Elgin teaming up with Kushida and Jay Lethal to take on Los Ingobernables de Japón. You had everybody brawling to start the match. And you had Lethal getting hit, some offense in early on. But Los Ingobernables was able to take advantage. And as Tanahashi became the legal man, they started working him over. Then you had Sonata going for the Dragon Sleeper at one point, but then Tanahashi was able to counter with the Dragon Screw Neckbreaker and tagging Kushida. Kushida ended up cleaning house. Naito tried to trip Kushida, but Kushida ended up hitting a somersault plancha on Bushi and Naito. So you get some back and forth between Bushi and Kushida. Then you have Naito cut off Kushida. And Kushida begins to favor his arm, which he really looked like he legit hurt his arm. So I don't know if he was really selling or if he was in legit pain. So it was hard to tell. If he was selling, it was a really good job selling. If not, hopefully the injury's not too major. But you had Los Ingobernables de Japón working over Kushida for a little bit. Then Elgin ran in and hit a big boot on Naito. He dragged Kushida to the corner, tagged himself in, and he starts working over Los Ingobernables de Japón, where he does the spot where he has Naito in he like a double power slam on Naito and Bushi. Then Evil comes in, cuts off Elgin, which allows Naito to hit the Tornado DDT, where Los Ingobernables starts working over Elgin. Then Elgin ends up coming back. We have Tanahashi and Lethal to where everybody starts hitting major signature moves. Lethal hitting a lethal combination. Shin Tanahashi with the Sling Blade. Evil with like a Fisherman Brainbuster. Everybody just hitting their moves. So then it ends with Lethal hitting the Lethal Injection on Naito. Then Elgin comes in with the Buckle Bomb, followed by the Elgin Bomb for the 3 count. So we're gonna get a rematch between. So this is gonna build up towards a Naito Elgin rematch for the IC title. You also have the potential. You also have Lethal and Naito. So it looks like, yeah, and also like after the match, well, you have Elgin, Tanahashi, and Lethal walking out. Kushida ends up getting jumped. And Evil was able to wrap a chair around Kushida's neck. Then he took another chair and he swung it at Kushida. Then Bushi comes in and he hits the MX to Kushida with the chair. So now overall, this match, I'm going to give this a 3.5. This is a really good match. Picks up after the downhill slide that was Gorillas of Destiny versus the Briscoes. Really good match from these two. After these four guys. Looks like in tomorrow, well, early in the morning, we're gonna get Power Struggle, where it looks like the main event's gonna be Naito defending the IWGP IC Championship against Jay Lethal. Elgin had a face fracture from the 6-man tag match, because they showed a picture where Elgin's face looked all messed up, and that was his face getting fractured. So I guess they're gonna give him some time off. Which is why we're gonna get Naito and Lethal first, and then we're gonna get somewhere down the road Elgin and Naito are gonna have a rematch. But who knows? Maybe Naito ends up defending the title against Tanahashi, whether it be like some show in December, or if they decide to do that match at Wrestle Kingdom 11. Who knows? But good match. Picks up the slack from the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team title match. So the next match we get was Shibata and O'Reilly. This is a rematch that they had. They had a match at ROH Field of Honor, which that was a bit. It wasn't the match that people hoped. So, like, if you watched their match at Field of Honor and you were very disappointed going into the match they had for the NEVER Openweight Championship at King of Pro Wrestling here in this show, you're going to be happy with this match, because this match came about after O'Reilly defeated Shibata, where they had him choke out Shibata, which earned him a number one contender shot at the NEVER Openweight title. Hey, this was a really good match, where a lot of MMA in this match. A lot of MMA incorporated in this match. Shibata was going for an arm breaker, the cross arm breaker. O'Reilly was able to get out, and he was working over Shibata's arm, and he was going over for the arm bar, but Shibata was able to reach the ropes quickly. O'Reilly sent Shibata to the floor and continued to work over the arm. And as Shibata was beginning to make a comeback, O'Reilly starts going after his leg. O'Reilly ends up lighting up Shibata with a series of kicks, and then Shibata starts to no-sell him, and he's hulking up, like, come on, kick me, and then Shibata ends up hitting a forearm strike. And then they start trading running kicks, and then Shibata ends up hitting like multiple Yakuza kicks, followed by his corner drop kick. O'Reilly ducks the penalty kick, and they ended up kicking each other in the face. Shibata put O'Reilly into a guillotine, but O'Reilly was able to get out and hit a catcher suplex for a 2 count. Then you have Shibata, O'Reilly going for the brainbuster, but Shibata was able to get out. But as he got out, O'Reilly started to choke him out, and he hits the brainbuster for a 2 count. O'Reilly quickly transitioned into the cross-arm breaker. Then he ended up transitioning into a triangle choke. Shibata was trying to power up, but O'Reilly was able to transition back into the armbar, and then Shibata was able to reach the ropes. Shibata then puts him in a sleeper hold, and O'Reilly was able to get to the ropes, and then they ended up trading suplexes. Typical NEVER Openweight Championship match. Shibata hit the PK, but he wasn't able to capitalize with how much damage he was taking. This match was fucking awesome. They ended up trading strikes, going back and forth. O'Reilly ended up hitting a lariat, but Shibata ended up kicking out at one. O'Reilly hits a penalty kick for a 2 count. Then you have O'Reilly working knee strikes and kicks, but Shibata ended up hitting a nasty backhand. And then you have Shibata putting O'Reilly in the rear naked choke. Hits the penalty kick, but instead of covering him for the 3 count, Shibata goes back to the rear naked choke, and you have O'Reilly pass out. So Shibata retains the NEVER Openweight Championship. This was better than the Field of Honor match. Definitely. Like, I'm going to give this match a 4.25 out of 5. Really hard hitting match. You had some technical wrestling. You had MMA incorporated. This was just straight up badass. And then after the match, you had Shibata shaking hands with O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. And as they were shaking hands, Go Shiozaki hits the ring. And he tells Shibata, okay, I want that title. And then as Shiozaki leaves, Evil runs in and he hits Shibata with an STO. So Evil gets a title shot since he beat Shibata in the G1, so it works. And all this continues the feud with New Japan and Noah, while it also has Shibata feud with Evil. So this is some organic storytelling. So I'm looking forward to seeing where Shibata is going to go with the NEVER Openweight Championship. Whether he is going to defend it against Go Shiozaki first or Evil. I think he's going to end up defending against Shiozaki. He'll beat Shiozaki, but he might end up dropping the title to Evil somewhere down the line. Maybe, who knows? He ends up dropping the title to Evil at Wrestle Kingdom 11. Whether he does or not, who knows? But really loved the match. Gotta say, I really enjoyed the match. So we go to the #1 contendership for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship at Wrestle Kingdom. being on the line. Kenny Omega defending his title shot against Hirooki Goto. This match happened again. Like, their match at the G1 was great, but this match was kind of disappointing because you had a bunch of interference from the Young Bucks and shit. You had a trash can full of weapons. Like, the match started off with Goto attacking Omega with the briefcase, and he ended up getting some heat. Goto ended up taking out the Young Bucks. Him and Omega go back and forth. And Goto was just working over Omega on the outside. Then you had Goto eating a super kick. And Omega slammed him onto the apron. Then the Young Bucks got a table. They laid Goto on the table. And Omega hits a double foot stomp on the apron. You know, Yoshihashi standing there doing nothing, though. Which made zero sense. You'd think Yoshihashi would have stepped in and fought off the Young Bucks, but whatever. Then you got Omega hitting a top rope missile drop kick for a 2 count. Then you had Omega. I think he had Goto in a headlock and Matt Jackson was taking pictures. Omega hits the Finley roll. Then Omega would hit the Finley roll, followed by the moonsault for a 2 count. Then Omega followed up with the Hurricane Rana, sending Goto to the floor. And Kenny Omega follows up with his Terminator. Tope con Hiro. His somersault plancha. The Young Bucks set up another table. And they were going to lay Goto on it, but then Yoshihashi steps in and he fights off both the Young Bucks. Omega and Goto end up battling on the apron. Well, Young Bucks and Yoshihashi brawl to the back. And Omega was about to... Omega... Shit. Omega gets hit with a code red off the top rope for a 2 count. Then Omega blocks a kick from Goto and hits a pump handle backbreaker. Omega goes for a power bomb to Goto on the floor, but Goto was able to escape. Omega was about to do some kind of a springboard attack, but then Goto pushes him off and sending Omega crashing through the table. Then you have Goto stopping the ref from counting, and he brings Omega back into the ring, hits a lariat followed by the Ushigoroshi for a 2 count. Omega fights off a sleeper, climbs up the ropes, but Goto was able to get out and hit another Ushigoroshi. Then you had they were spamming counters, going back and forth. Where Goto finally hit the Shoten Kai, which I've always been wondering, where the fuck was the Shoten Kai? Like, did they have him stop doing it because he was too dangerous or not? Wasn't sure, but Goto finally brought that back. But Omega ended up kicking out at 2. Goto fires up and then he lays a series of kicks into Omega, but Omega was able to get a roll up for a 2 count. Omega follows up with a Snapdragon suplex. But then you have both men trading strikes. And Omega hits Goto with a knee strike. But Goto comes back. Goto starts to get fired up. And Omega follows up with another running knee strike. Then Omega hits the Fisherman Buster onto his knee. But Goto kicks out. At 2, Omega hits a running knee strike, followed by the Runwing Angel for the 3 count. So Omega retains his shot to go to Wrestle Kingdom to challenge for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. This is a good match. Not as good as G1, but it did what it did. It did serve its purpose, so I'm going to give this one a solid 4 out of 5. Good match, but we didn't need to have the Young Bucks interfere, though. Didn't make sense for them to interfere at all. So we move on to the main event, the IWGP Heavyweight Championship on the line. The Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada defending against Naomichi Marufuji. Now this match goes back to G1 on the first night where Okada lost to Marufuji. And this was a great match. This is one of the best matches I've seen this year. Yeah, Marufuji spamming some heel kicks and stuff. It was crazy. So you had Okada hit a big backdrop, taking advantage, sending Marufuji to the floor. Then they're fighting, and you have Marufuji hit a bulldog over the barricade. Then he follows up with his thrust, his heel kick, series of heel kicks. And as they get back into the ring, Marufuji just spamming Okada with knife edge chops. You have Okada fighting back with forearms. It was a really good back and forth. Like, Marufuji was kind of shrugging off Okada's forearms every time Okada was hitting the forearms. Marufuji was like, get that shit out of here. He really was. And Marufuji was starting to work over Okada's arm. Then he continued to chop the shit out of Okada. Then Okada was able to catch a break after hitting a big boot, followed by a running elbow to cut off Marufuji. Okada then hits a DDT and kips up. Then sets Marufuji in the on the top turnbuckle to hit a drop kick, sending him to the floor. Then they brawl on the floor. For Marufuji, he was just hitting some super kicks on Okada. But Okada ended up hitting a high running crossbody over the barricade to Marufuji. Then you had Okada. So as they get back into the ring, Marufuji hits Okada with a series of kicks and strikes. And now both men are down. So as they get to their feet, Marufuji hits more fucking thrust kicks, then follows up with a drop kick. And as they fight on her apron, Marufuji hits a nasty pile driver. Like, it was fucking sick. So Okada was able to get back into the ring, but as he got into the ring, Marufuji quickly hits him with a springboard drop kick for a 2 count. And Okada ends up stopping Marufuji's offense after hitting a flapjack. And Okada, and after a series of back and forth, after a back and forth exchange, Okada hit a reverse neck breaker. And then Okada follows up with the top rope elbow drop. Very nice elbow drop. And Okada signals for the Rainmaker, goes for it, but Marufuji counters and rolls into a variation of the Koji clutch. So the ref was checking the arm to see if Okada was going to pass out, but Okada ends up stopping, like getting his arm up and gets to his feet. Marufuji went for the Shiranui, countered, and Okada counters and sends Marufuji to the corner with a shotgun dropkick. Both men struggled to their feet, and Marufuji was spamming with chops as usual. Okada spamming forearms. Like Marufuji goes back to the chops. Like the usual back and forth. Okada goes for a drop kick as Marufuji's coming off the ropes. But Marufuji was able to counter it the first time. But Okada was able to get him the second time. Okada went for the tombstone, but Marufuji escapes. And he's hitting super kick after, hits a super kick. Goes for the Shiranui. Okada counters with a German. Goes for the Rainmaker, but Marufuji counters with a jumping knee strike. Followed by, and hits another after sidestepping Okada charging him. Hits the Shiranui, but Okada kicks out at 2. Marufuji ends up going for the Emerald Flosion, but Okada counters. Okada gets out, but Marufuji hits him with another super kick. Marufuji goes for another Shiranui, but Okada counters into a Rainmaker. About to go for a second one, but Marufuji counters with a small package for a 2 count. Then you had Marufuji laying a series of kicks and knee strikes, but Okada was able to get him up, get him with a tombstone. Then Okada hit the Emerald Flosion and followed up with the Rainmaker for the 3 count. So Okada retains the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. This match was insane. Like with this match, I was like, what the fuck? So, looking at this match, fuck it. I'm going 5 stars. This was an amazing match. This is gonna be like up there with match of the year contender. Like if I had like a top 10 matches of the year, I'm putting Okada Marufuji from King of Pro Wrestling in the main event of King of Pro Wrestling on that top 10 list. So afterwards, you have Goto calling out Kenny Omega so they could have a face-to-face. And you have Omega talking about how Okada had everything handed to him by Goto in New Japan. But Omega puts over Okada and is like, hey, you've been good. And you've been repping New Japan well. And he tells Okada that he's going to beat him at Wrestle Kingdom and treat him like a bitch like America did. And what he meant by that was he was referring to Okada and TNA. Now TNA horribly booked Okada as Samoa Joe's understudy and all that dumb shit. But yeah, Omega, you had the fucking G1 handed to you. Naito should have won the G1. Omega didn't deserve it. AJ was more deserving to be in the first Gaijin. Carl Anderson was more deserving. Prince Devitt was more deserving. But I digress. Overall, with King of Pro Wrestling, I'm going to give this one an 8.5 out of 10. Very good show. I mean, yeah, you had the bullshit with the Gorillas of Destiny. Those dumbasses. Fucking winning. You had that shit match where Yano and all. Yeah, Yano and Taguchi, which ruins it a lot. Really good match. I felt Goto and Omega could have been better. That junior heavyweight tag match was good. I don't think there was a match on there that I would say like under 3 stars. So great show. Or actually, you know what? I'm gonna give this shit a 9 out of 10. Fuck it, 9 out of 10. Great show to watch. So if you're gonna get somebody in New Japan, King of Pro Wrestling is a pretty good place to start. So looking forward to seeing what else is going on. Looking forward to see where New Japan goes. Tomorrow there's going to be Power Struggle for New Japan Pro Wrestling. They're going to have that show. Really looking forward to seeing that. And also, that's where they're going to have the big reveal of the ticking time bomb of who it is that's coming to New Japan, whether it's somebody new or somebody that's returning. So a lot of stuff with New Japan, really looking forward to. So I'll be back to talk with you guys. I'll be back and I'm going to try to get out Power Struggle as fast as I can. Can't guarantee I'll get it like within Saturday, like later that Saturday night or anything like that. But I'll see if I can get at least, if I can go to Sunday, if I can get the review up Sunday. So hope you enjoyed this review, and if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe. Really appreciate it. And I'll be back to talk with you guys about Power Struggle. Peace out.